Hello, welcome to a new redstone video. Today I'm showcasing this huge 9x9 piston door that I made kind of recently. Top, if you remember, is taken from the 8x8 I made with Atom. I just made it one more wide, which is why there's a gap there. And then I made the bottom recently. It's 3,159 blocks. Decent speed and size. Cooldown's annoying, but I can hopefully show you how to fix that. Anyway, here's the door. Quite slow, so I'll stay these two. The cooldown mostly comes from not here actually. This one has 45 items, and this hopper adds a lot more because we need to keep the side pistons on a lot longer, so it's movable. Anyway, I'll get to that. And here's the opening. The top's the same as the 8x8, but the refi is a bit different. Actually, it's quite similar, to be honest. Here it waits for these to go, which is a bit annoying, but that's because we have to wait for this to finish. I can go again. This time I'll focus on the bottom, as it is the new bit. Go to spectator mode and hopefully see it a bit better. Or I just show you this slice. It's a bit slow. Skip over that. I think for a 4 high tape at this slice, not too bad. You can skip this part. And last retraction. So yeah, I think it's pretty good for a 9x9, I think. Oh yeah, that slides over. Takes a while, but I mean, you don't have to wait for it before closing. Top, I'm not going to explain. As you can see, I copied and pasted it in because it's the exact same as the 8x8 top, except I added an extra layer of pistons, and I'm not sure how the 8x8 looked here, but the comparators probably here and repeaters like that. So just extend that a block and then put a dust here, and an extra repeater there, and connect these with blocks. And then, yeah. This part of the refi stays, and the next part of the refi comes from there. Now I'm thinking about it, I think this is basically the exact same as in the 8x8, just by chance. It's what works. Anyway, bit of lag. Done the materials list of the whole tool, so you can go and watch the 8x8 one if you want. Start off with these. You need about 200, 250 pistons, something like that. Sticky pistons, 23 pistons, 23 redstone block, about 200 dust as well, about 200 repeaters, stack and 4 torches, 34 droppers, nearly a stack of hoppers, which is kind of mad, 47 comparators, 4 powered rails, 4 activator rails, 1 chest, which doesn't have to be a chest. Got it here. Be a hopper, could be any container, apart from like a furnace. Yeah. 2 tripwire hooks to redirect, 5 furnaces, 5 cauldrons. You also need 5 water buckets, but I ran out of space in the chest, and 1 slime block for the tape. Which is a bit annoying because I can't say it's slimeless, but it's only 1, so whatever. And then for the items in all the droppers, this many unstackable items, this many stackable items, and then the charcoal is because this you need 15 signal strength. So you need to smelt some stuff if you want to use a furnace, but you can just use like a chest. I think about it, fill that up with items. If I used a furnace, then yeah. And I just burn logs because that's what I just thought of. And then for building blocks, we need this is for this door. If you wanted to fill all this with quartz materials, this is wrong. Let's make these quartz. 3 stacks and a half of white stained glass or blocks in the hallway which don't have to be solid. Apart from these block can be transparent, but it's a bit worse. 2 stacks and 30 quartz blocks, and then these are all the colour coding bits. Those can be any block that's movable and not redstone block. So you could just make it all. I changed it because it's a cider. The concrete powder, the yellow ones from up here, it's a gravity block. Green ones there, they can be sand or gravel. This is all the colour coding. That is inputs to the pistons. That's the bottom triple. That is the bottom tape. That's the top. That's the top circuit. That's the top circuit. That's the input line. That's the top something. I forgot the top. That's also top. That is bottom double. Yeah. That is top something. That is bottom like 6 tuple control sort of thing. That is like bottom last retraction. That's I think that's part. Oh, that's bottom closing and bit of a. That's bottom. 6 tuple extension, and that's top refire. You also need 49 transparent blocks and 8 movable blocks. I don't mean 8. I mean yeah, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in this input line, and then 1 more somewhere else. I forgot that. That's all you'll need. Then you need 13 by 9 by 27 area, 10 blocks below the ground. So start with the layout, I guess. I'll finish the side pistons because they're pasting. I can show you what this does without the bottom. This is the top. You do still need to wait for this. The reason why there's a shovel is so I can do this, which will switch on when this is finished doing its stuff. So just a big extender on the top. A showcase of this. Not on my channel. Bottom pushes up like that. Free fire happens from that hopper thing finishing. And then the bottom puts an input into here after like, so that's that. Finish the side pistons. This is a huge extender. 7 pistons and a gap of 2. Not a set tuple, but to make the inputs work, it needs 7 pistons. And then the storage, line of pistons here, line of pistons here, and then 2 rows, because we've got 3 storage at the top or bottom. That's 3 plus 4, 7, and 8. Right. Inputs are mostly self-explanatory. Bottom inputs are like this. Most of these blocks get replaced. Then these get budded by this and just get an update at the right time. Input line down here. Input lines there, and then we have obsidian there. So I've done that in the wrong place. No, I haven't. Goes here to stop that pushing over a long time. So that's that. Because this would be it if we had 6 pistons. And now that I'm thinking properly, realised I could have put this up here, and then I wouldn't have needed 7 pistons. I didn't, so yeah. Bit late now to realise that. Could have shaved a layer on the bottom, but that would have been quite hard. So that's that. I'm gonna do the bottom tape first, just because everything is, that's what I built first. So the tape uses that to push along. And it has to be a 4 high tape, so I can be able to go up there. Which is quite hard without going extra layers on the side, I think. And the way that I grab the blocks from this layer down is with a slime block. And then that needs to be pushed up. And yeah. And I don't know if that sticky is. And this pushes around the normal tape, and then the less normal tape will do that. Yeah. It's not the simplest thing, but and on this side we have bog standard, that sort of thing. So either the block goes like that, or it goes like that. That's not the sequence in the door, there's also a block there. And then we also have, I build this out a bit. We leave a gap, and then we leave another row of blocks, which will get slid across like that. So I can stick a torch under there, get an output. Like that. And this gets a 3 tick, and that means that we can't just make that block be powered and didn't return, which is why we stick the torch on this block so it burns out and gives 2 pulses like that, which is helpful because that goes up into there and does that. This side, this shouldn't be the location. I fixed it. It was locational when I first made the door, but I refixed it. Pages. So now that's all the wiring on this side already done, which is kind of crazy. I think this works for both 3 and 4 high tapes, and it doesn't keep this spat out or anything. So yeah, the block ends up there. So if I do this, this gets pushed over, and if I power that at roughly the right time, it will break because I did that wrong. What I meant is that we do this, and that piston would retract the block. Yeah. So that's the normal high tape, nearly. We have to do that. But I'm going to put those there so I can understand what's happening. Then the link there is 3 and 2, and that goes into a block, and then block there. There might be obsidian in the door, but it doesn't have to be. Oh, that's where the obsidian is. Okay, I'm not sure if that obsidian is needed, but I'm going to keep it because I don't miss the break, and the dust goes down there. Then we stick torches on the side so that this doesn't stick to the slime block and gets pushed up. This then goes to, I'm going to crank my render distance up a bit so I can see. Goes like that, and that is the whole tape done. It just works out quite nicely. So if I stick blocks there and a block there, it should cycle around. Like this. And this also extends, which helps with the higher tape. So if we stick a removable there and put blocks, it'll do the 4 high tape, and the sides stay retracted after every cycle. So it just does this. Which is quite cool. This doesn't get powered because of this removable, which means it can be pushed up and across. And over here, the block doesn't get pushed on top of the slide, so the slide can pull it down. And then that is just so we don't have to do stuff with the sides after each tape. And now we need the tape clock, because it runs off of a clock and not off of smart pistons, because there wasn't any space. And the clock, I'm not sure. The clock is this. So if 2 or 3 ticket goes round, just the clock. This sounds like it's burning out, but it never does. I mean, it does, and then it comes back. Don't really know why. Then just stick a redstone block in there, it works. Also, the reason for this is so that this, when the redstone block comes around, you can see that retracts. I guess to say, it's hard to explain, but to stop the redstone block budding stuff. And then if I wait a second, and if I make that not removable, it goes and does the normal high tape. And the way we get that removable is pretty simple. Just do that. Did that at the one time where it will break it. Oh, and sometimes this block disappears. Yeah, just refill the tape. Anyway, that's the tape. The way we stop it is by powering that. And that happens with our hopper timer, because there's no smart detection or anything. The hopper timer goes here. It has, I think, 45 items. 44. Items. And when this comparator switches off, that dust switches off, this repeater switches off, that torch switches on. So now if I put the redstone block in my place, start it, that gets pushed over, it'll start draining till eventually items run out and it stops. redstone block should have been in the right place, but it wasn't. That's not good. That doesn't make sense. It should have been in there. Then that will get powered by this. Needs to be pushed up by that. And then actually all the items come back. I don't know why it carries on. It shouldn't do that. And that got pushed further. Maybe if we give it a 3 stick. I don't know why that would have done it. Yeah. Okay, that's strange. In a bad way. I do not understand that. Well, I guess the door doesn't work. If we do that, maybe it will work. No. Oh no. Well, that's that. Just realised why it's breaking, because from there. So it goes round, pushes that, and then powers that. Right. Just because when I was testing the tape to begin with, powering it like that, when the door gets powered here, so it does work. Except it doesn't. Because why would it now work? Oh, that works. Speed the game up. I don't know why that happens. It's not going very well, is it? Oh well. I guess I'll come back in a sec. So the issue was that I was powering it again. Not meant to power the bus, meant to power the block. It worked. So that's good. And then if we do that, it should be full high take. So that's the most annoying bit done out of the door. Actually, one last thing. We just connect that up. So now put that section for us, and then retracts and does the same here, which is quite helpful. And we just retract down. Right, so that's the tape done, which is good. Now we move on to the input to the bottom. So it comes from the top because it makes sense. Stick a torch there, or you can make that redstone block if you want. I don't want. That shouldn't have pushed up, which is, and in the real door is be extended, so a removable moment I just put an obsidian there, and that is why we've got this really long hopper timer, because it needs to switch off after the whole door is open, basically. So this comes down to here, 16 items in there, and then finish the singles like that. So now if I add that, I get all the singles, and that switches off after a while. I put an removable here if you can test the door. It just makes your life easier. Don't put the removable up here, otherwise it breaks the top. Don't put it down here, otherwise it breaks the bottom. This piston is what activates this bud, so this piston will be budded. So when that happens, it's like that, and then retracts. This is where one of the cauldrons comes in. Just do that. So now, when we update that, it moves. We update it like that. Which means you have to be careful when placing the wall. Anyway, then we get another output, and that goes into dust and into this thing. So now that briefly retracts on both edges and starts the blue circuit, which does the start of the bottom. You also see it powers here, which pushes over to here, but that doesn't matter, just does. Also from now on I'm going to remove most of the pistons so I can reset it easily. Right, so when you update that, it does that, so it needs to be solid. As the first lot of storage. And then immediately you can stop running the circuit. That's not true, actually. I'm going to carry on going the blue circuit. And do that by, I think there's a gap, yeah. Oh, I've done this wrong. What did I do? That's how we get the one tick. Just this one. Perfect. When you get rid of that. Yeah. And then that powers this piston, which I think is facing like that. And mine is powering, it's facing like that. Which means that one retracts. It also spits out its block because it's from burnout. That doesn't matter. What matters is it gives out the heater. output. And that goes into the brown circuit, which we input like that. The brown circuit is the double. So what the double does is it does what you expect it to do. It's a double extender. But because the inputs are a bit annoying, we have to do more than just like put double. We have to pulse that and then do that. And the way we do all that is with a bunch of torches. So we get the first torch, which I think goes down like that. So it doesn't, it stays like that, which if we power this, does that, and then we bring up another torch into another slab. Does that, they both power at the same time, which is fine, because there aren't any pistons here yet, and it won't take them because by the time pistons arrive, this is nearly going to turn off. Then we just have to power that twice. We do a double pulse. The double pulse is more part of the green circuit, arguably, and it just gets powered by another torch, and it would double pulse. It's not super fast, but yeah, you can't really make it faster. So that gets powered by the blue circuit. So the storage goes in the double. And then the next part is to power this line, and then power these, which we do by two-ticking this so they don't spit out the blocks and updating these at the right time. It's a bit complicated. Then we power that. Then we power the triple circuit, which is what the green is, but we haven't got to that yet. And then on the opening, we do the same thing, power that, two-tick this and update those. So the two-tick grabs that block and then those get updated. Then we power this again, and do the triple, storage and big extend. So the next part of the blue circuit is to power this. Simple. And then next one after that is to two-tick this, which is a lot harder and annoying, and it has to happen after the double. So yeah, these two three-ticks, that locks it so it stays on longer. Yeah, so you can see it stays on a while. And that goes into a torch, into a block with a 15 signal strength container behind it, such as this fill-up furnace. Well, I don't think it doesn't have to be 15, but it has to be 11, I think. Basically, so this, let's switch the comparator off, and that goes into a monostable. Just a one tick, but then that makes it a two tick. So now you can see, get this two tick. And like that, pretty quick. But we also have to update that at the right time, and the right time is when this repeater is powering. So the way we do that is pretty sure it's with a piston there. Before I just did it, I moved that repeater down and put dust there. The dust updated that, but that's location and annoying. So now we should see those spit out their blocks. So that's one tick, double happens, 2 tick happens, and that doesn't work. Why doesn't it work? I don't know why it doesn't work, because that should work. Not working. Is because this is getting budded and breaking. The way we fix that is by fixing the door, because it's locational. I hate doing tutorials and one thing location. I don't even know why. What would do that? Oh, what? This is so strange. I don't know why. Maybe making sure this tutorial has gone extremely badly. What happens if I just do that? Yeah, see, those don't spit out the blocks. Because that doesn't spit out the blocks. So we need a second updater there, which would make it work. Problem is, we don't have space for a second updater anywhere. Unless, could we do it down here? That'd be crazy. Yeah, doesn't work. Oh well. Well, I've just spent about an hour adding that updater piston into the door. Now the material says doesn't work. And synergy of rotational. And I changed this, and now it's dense here. And I did an updater. Anyway, I hope it works now. Completely forgotten where I was, but it seems like I was here. That's the next thing. That one ticks now. Now we have to do the triple, which is spot. Triple starts with that 4 tick and goes up into there. Then this goes to here. So that powers that. Right, I forgot how this goes. That's how it goes. Dust up here on the stable, like that. Also, I completely forgot we've got an input gone here, like that. Yeah, which is why that's raised up. So that does the extension bottom piston's on longer, which we do with that. And we need to refire this monostable, which we do with this. And then we power that double pulsing thing. That's the triple. So I quite like doing a tutorial with, because it's quite easy and it works. And that gets powered by this line, like that. So now we're closing and nearly done. I need to push that over before doing the triple though. And the way we do that, it also has to be on a toggle by the way, is with those hoppers, with these two pistons, cauldron, water, so this one ticks, so that dust powers that, so that gets spat up, and then this gets pulsed, which gets read by the comparator, and on the other edge this gets pulled down, this pulses but nothing's read by the comparator, and that is how we do that pulse. It was a one tick, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, and then we don't have that. Just placing blocks. And then that does that, and then we need to do the storage after the triple, which gets done by this. Yeah, this stays on for a while, locking this hopper so the item doesn't go through immediately, which gets lots of delay. And that is how. Oh yeah, that has delay on the closing triple for some reason, but it doesn't matter. And then that pulses and retracts that, ready for the big extender. But this has been budded by that dust powering that, which means we have to update that throughout the door, which we do with that repeater. As you can see, oh, it did power. Anyway, it's budded. So we need that as an updater, and the way we power that is by a dust on top of that block, and then I think it's 2 torches like that. Nope. Torch like that, and like that. Those torches power the monostable piston, which is important later because we need to block it powering that repeater. So yeah, it's used as the updater and as that thing. So that's the close done. Now I've just got the big extender to do, except I don't know if I have enough time now since I've just spent ages fixing this. Anyway, there's a bunch of random junk. Yeah, I can make a start anyway. I'll do the light grey circuit because it's another annoying circuit. Well, that's not that annoying, I guess. Anyway, what the light grey circuit does is it powers this repeater, which does the extension up until the first tape. And completely forgotten everything. Now I've just spent so much time doing that. I'm just building it. I think those are the timings. That's a 3 tick. That's a 1 tick. Yeah, so and then also goes over, powers that. So what it does is we also have to do that. So 1 ticks this, which does that, and then it goes through 2 ticks this line, gets ready, and then this circuit here powers the storage, the 3 tick, which means the storage stays out because of the input link. If we 3 tick this line, that happens, which is why it's a 3 tick and 2 tick. So that happens, and then we power this line, which powers this second storage and also the triple. So I guess the best way is to show it. So these boxes somewhere up there, and then this happens, that pushes, it's not meant to be a 1 tick. Why is it 1 ticked? Because that's a 2 tick, not up in dust. Right, so okay, that powers, then it 2 ticks, and that 2 ticks. Storage gets pushed over, does the thing to keep it out, and that pushes up, which prepares for after the tape, and then the triple happens. And it does random stuff, but that doesn't matter because this will have pushed over and these will have stayed extended. And the way we do that is with the magenta circuit and this dust. I guess it's more pink. It's down here actually. 3 tick and a comparator, which reads a cauldron. So yeah, I think that's in the right place. And that gets powered by that dust and updated with that piston to start the tape. So, and that gets powered by this thing which I made just now, because the old one was location. It also should be grey, not purple. So I colour coded it wrong. Oh well. And that goes there, and that's comparator because it also reads hopper. That goes down, delay, and powers the tape. So now, hopefully, I fill in all the tape blocks and do this extension thing. Then it should do the tape. pushed over, which powers that. Tape happens. That's a clock. So that should be a slab. And that has broken the tape. Anyway, tape powers. You've seen the tape work. Yeah. And then we end up like this. But before I carry on, we need to power this repeater. The way we do that is with this monostate. The monostate will need to be here with 2 ticks because it 0 ticks that piston in some directions. So it needs 2 ticks before being able to push up. And that gets powered by a horrible dropper loop. So let's break all this up. I don't think we go that far back. So the dropper loop ends up there, and we just need a lot of hoppers. I'll just finish building it. I think it ends up like that. And the item starts in there. And we just have to put all these bits and bobs back on and not fall through the floor. So I think that's right, but I'm going to double check. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, and then yeah. So that item, when on the closing, this powers, which moves the item from there into there, and then the blue circuit happens, goes through the repeater, powers this again, which moves the item from there into there, so that's closing, and then on opening, that powers again, moves the item into there. And then this happens, which moves the item after a lot of delay past this comparator into here, and that comparator reads and starts the extension. So if I do that, which disables the tape. See that working. And then once the item gets in here, it gets pushed up by the magenta circuit after a while to reset everything. That happens, stuff happens, nothing ends up in there. And then the extensions should start like that. And that does stuff, but it doesn't matter. And the tape happens. Yeah. That was fun, wasn't it? And we reset. We can start the next part, which is via magenta, and basically we have to power the triple very quickly after the tape, so it powers before this is pushed back over, so that after these retract they don't spit out again. And we do that by getting this torch, because this turns off and on at the end of the tape, and we power the triple like that. Except that is a comparator. That is a dust. The dust goes up there. The reason why we have this is because we don't want the triple to power the second time the tape stops. So the first time, this is just 1 tick gen. So that gets spit out, powers that. Second one just gets retracted and this doesn't power. And that has to be really quick. So, yeah. does first thing after tape. So yeah, speed that up, often pushes down 3 blocks, and yeah, that shouldn't be broken. That's been pushed off from that powering that. Yeah. So now hopefully everything does its thing. Except it doesn't because we haven't built the circuit, which brings the item from there to there. So this happens. It should have worked. But it doesn't. Anyhow, still testing it now. You can see how the triple happens, and then that needs to be updated so it does the storage. I wonder why this isn't working anymore. Oh, and you've seen that spat out. I don't know why this has stopped working. Well, it shouldn't have. Oh, maybe that's why. Because I broke the slider. Let's just check the tape works. Yeah. Okay. So, and as you saw, we're now like that. Because the triple powered then the storage. But the storage didn't power because that was bugging, so we need to update it, which we do with that. Which goes through, powers the repeater, updates it, so storage works. That also powers the monostable, but doesn't do anything. Right, now comes the more, I guess, confusing part, which is the sequence sort of thing. So what the sequence is after the tape is both times same sort of thing happens. This has an input link to which is purple, and it has an input link. Get a furnace. I put 2 spoons in it. Get signal strength, so reduce the end. And then that oh yeah, that's just linked like that, so whenever you want to take that, it does that. Whenever you want to take that, it does a retraction as well. So after the tape, we want to take that, which gets us ready to do a triple where the monostable is disabled, like fully. So we power that, and then power the triple. Yeah. And because of the input join and the storage thing, these get pulled down. And then after that, we go do a double. That gets us ready to do a one tick there, because of the input join does that. Another take, which will retract that. Another one tick here. And then we do the same thing. We one tick this. But this time, actually, it's a bit different. We power the triple again. So this time we only disable the second unstable pulse. Which does that. Kind of hard to see. But it retracted these down and then didn't power again, so it didn't act as a proper triple. And then we pulled over, did that. Then power the double. Except this time when we power the double, power this line at the right time, so those will retract down. And then we power that. And that won't have messed that up. And then we want to take that, power that again, and power that. Nice, and then it's done. So, yeah. So the next thing after this would be the one tick there. That happens both times. And the one tick happens with, after a lot of delay, with this hopper. That updated is because of budget. And then I think it's 4 tick, 2 tick, because we need lots and lots of delay, because the triple is not super speedy. And after that we power this the circuit which will fill this area, which I'll build now, which does this at the right time on both edges. So that circuit is powered with that 4 tick. Powers this dropper, which does the item. I'll just put it up there in case I forget. And it also goes into this monostable, which gives us a 1 tick pulse. Immediately goes into the triple. And then we just have to power this at the right time. And we've got 2 ways to power that. I don't remember the timing. 4, 2, 2, 1, like that. So this one gets powered both times, so that will disable the second time this goes through. That happens both times, and then this one only happens once. So we have that toggle, so that powers on one edge but not the other edge. But this gets budded by this blue, which means that won't always 1 tick, which means we have to make that the slab. So put dust there. It goes into an update piston on this side, actually, I think. Which just updates it, so it's always spitting the block. So yeah, that's that circuit. So I can show what it does. On one edge, it does that. On the other edge, it shouldn't do that. Why isn't that working? Because that updater piston doesn't work, because let's be on the other side. I don't know what just happened. I powered a load of things. Because that needs to be a slab. So, as I was saying, on one edge, it does that tops 1 tick. and the other edge it doesn't. And then the reason why the storage didn't go that time is because this needs to be updated, which it does through here again. So after this we power this, and the way we do that is with this sort of thing. That goes over, so when the item arrives back in here, it goes through, powers that. But now this dust is conflicting with that, so we need that there to power that. So when that dust turns on, it doesn't power the repeater. So that's that circuit done after the one tick. So that's quite a lot finished. Surprised how much space everything else takes. So yeah, now I guess we can test again. Other stuff. Take powers. Take happens. And after this triple, we get that one tick, and then the first iteration of that thing. Then we get that, and then if you remember, we have to power the double, which is brown. And we have to power it way after. This all happens because the triple is slow. I do it with this torch tower. I think like yeah, lots and lots of delay needed. So we have this falling edge monosable, I think. Goes like that. So these have to power, and then it's just pretty basic monostable. Gives an output like that. So after quite a long time, and powers the double, which gets ready for this this one tick, which then goes and powers the tape. This time it's a one high tick, and because this has been spat out, it won't power the triple. But instead that one ticks and does the thing, and we get that. Except it didn't work because I forgot to upholster the storage line. But what would have happened is we'd be all the way here, which is quite far in. Anyway, we aren't there yet. Next thing is to do that one tick, and the way we do the one tick is through another torch tower. Not that torch tower. Oh wait, is that torch tower? There just isn't the dust on there, because there's dust there. And this goes and fills this space with that. I think it's a 4 and a 1 tick. 3 and 1 tick. 3. So that is attached to here, which is what powers the tape the second time. And then while we're here, can make this circuit. Actually, cauldron of water comparator 1 tip which can go through a torch tower, which goes through like that. Yeah. So that happened straight after the tape, so the problem we just had wouldn't happen. So now, well, while we're doing this, I can make the tape powering the second time circuit, so that is this hopper circuit. So power that to start the tape, and then that gets powered again later in the door, which is why the item needs to be trapped there until earlier in the opening, which is this repeater. So now we do everything. Everything happens. The tape breaks, ignore that. Pretend these are just powered. That should still work. Actually, that triple will power. See, that one ticked, but it didn't do anything. And you get that in the double. Let's fix this. I don't know what happened. Oh yeah, because I keep breaking this slider. So yeah, this gets ready for the second tape, which we do by powering that dropper, which goes through to this one tick. That does the storage and the tape, and that cauldron one tick from before the power tape. I mean the storage, and then we get one tick, the triple, and that. Except we would have got the storage if we remember to do the updating thing, which happens with the spin circle power that. This gets powered again, but there's no item there, so yeah. And put a spoon in there. And this is the circuit which goes through and does the updating. Also this, and the reason why it can be powered by this dust is because it's not actually powered by the dust, it's powered by that redstone block, which is moved around a bit and is powered by a slider. It is powered by that. So that's the updated piston. So that powers. I think we've got the venter glass. Goes over when it gets back, slid back. This happens, but it needs to be slid back an awful after a lot of delay, because we need to wait for all these items to come back, which takes ages. Which is why we have other cauldron. In this one, put 2 water levels in. It might work with 3, I'm not sure. So it should say level 2 on the right hand side. And that goes into a subtraction, so that means this only turns on if signal strength 3 is in this hopper, which is good because it takes a long time to get signal strength 3. In fact, it will take 32 items because shovel is what makes it 3 signal strength. So put that in. As you can see, there's items in, but it's not reading out because it's subtracted. And that gets powered by the slider. So now we have all of that. That will get returned with the grey circuit. Don't know what I'm doing. So I'll put it all over again. You should see everything happens. tape starts powering, and then after the tape, which is broken, because why not? Anyway, after the tape, this goes through, powers, that eventually powers a slider. We wait for all this to go through before everything goes back. Goes through, powers that, starts the tape again. And then it would have worked if the tape worked. Yeah. Okay. So now we figure out why the tape isn't working. Who knows why? Wish I did. But I don't. Anyway, I'm not going to figure it out now because I've run out of time. Anyway, I'll come back tomorrow and finish this explanation. Right, well, I'm back. This is 5 minutes later than the last recording because I realised there's really not much left, so I might as well finish it now. The tape works. I don't know why it didn't then. Anyway, the next thing to do is when the second load of this torch tower powers, when it powers again, it's now purple circuit. The way we do that is with a tripwire hook there, and the torch thing. Put 2 spoons in, and then it goes into that, and now we just have to power this at the right time on a toggle. And the way we do that is through here. You pop another redstone block in there, and then add this tiny socket in there. So this just carries this signal onto this comparator, as you can see, and then this gets returned. Nothing special, really. And then we have to fit the toggle in here. And the way we do that is, well, there's the output of the toggle, there's the input of the toggle. And now I'm building this, it's the wrong colour. Yeah, and the toggle is quite a good one. I spent a good one on it. Because my first design didn't work because I had to change this. Anyway, we put that repeater there, which doesn't do anything with the pink circuit. It is always on, but it powers that dust, which is actually a hopper, which the comparator reads from. The atom gets piped up through there and read by the comparator, which powers that into this dropper here. And then to make it a toggle, we can't just put this into there. Because it's the second time this powers that this needs to power, and this powers by the grey really early. So if it went straight into that, it means the first time this powers, it would go through, and it would break, but it has to be the second time, which is why that's why we have these two hoppers connecting them, and then pop two repeaters in there for like before. So what happens is the item gets put into there by this dust. Then the first time this goes along and powers those repeaters power the droppers underneath, so they power that one and that one, which means the item ends up on that one. And this powers, but there's no items that don't do anything. The second time this powers and that one, which gets the item into here, which does do something and ends up in here. To be done all over again. And that goes into there. And that should be a slab. So now, see that pushed over. Oh, there should be a block there. And now we've also got this. If you remember. Do this. It does its thing. That is in the wrong state. So that's fine. That should be down. That should also be down. So that all happens. Get that double. That has slid across, so we're waiting these items. And that goes back and powers through there. That's the second tape. And then that happens. And that's powering, which means with the double, get another pulse into there. Now all we have to do is finish the piston stack retraction, which we do with this redstone block and repeater going into there, because that can't get a 4-tick pulse, otherwise that repeater will go through and it won't retract. So we have to shorten this 4-tick to a less than 4-tick with this, because it takes longer to retract than extend. And that does that. That does those few pulses, and also we get second pulse to here through 4-tick. 4-tick and 3-tick. And then we get our second pulse into that via 3-tick. That has to be a 3-tick, because if it's 4-tick it won't actually turn off. And 3 repeaters. And then that should do everything. So like that, and then that powers, which does everything until there, and then that gets powered by the kits. So that's just a bunch of delay. Goes through and retracts that, but means it has to be a slab. And then that is the whole 9x9 bottle. Oh, and that should be in there. But now, fixing that. It broke because, well, this needing to be a slab. Yeah. Now we get 9x9 bottom. Yeah. Now all we have to do is connect it up with the top. But before we do that, I'm going to do that. Actually, that didn't work. Oh well. I guess we get to watch it all over again. But because I don't have lots of time at 550 FPS. Actually, place those as glass, just so when I would do in the future, don't break anything. So yeah. Now we go in. Apart from one thing which I forgot. Well, I didn't really forget. It's not relevant yet. No, it is. Since we're connecting it to the top, we have to connect this torch tower. So this funnels out 2 ticks, or torch 1 tick, and it goes into there. Because when this grey circuit goes through and powers this 3-clip pin comparator, goes through here, powers this, goes through here, but this resistor block is still down, so it doesn't do anything. And when this happens, doesn't do anything, it's not a comparator. But then when this goes through, it does do something. Right around. Also we have this copper circuit which has that many items in it. Awful lot. And that's to mimic that. That mimics that. Ages. That just stays extended right until the end, as you can see. Also, the top just did 6 tickle without me realizing, because I connected it. And it didn't break, surprisingly. Then all we have to do is these singles. I don't even know how that really works, but something like that. Oh look, it's like I'm the first who built it. And then that should be everything. That should be everything. Just speed the game up a lot. So that's empty. And it's 9x9. Not gonna watch it all, because I've seen it about 50 times by now. But hey ho. circuit fires, which is why the side spans a bit. Then we've got the last tiny bit. So there. That's E99. Now in my world twice. I hope you enjoyed. I didn't really, because I had to redesign the whole blue bit. Yeah, so now I have to copy down to Synergy and stuff. Oh, also, still in the hallway. I've actually seen this door with the hallway filled in. Right now. And with that torch, you can put it on like glass block there if you would like to not have a room. This will have to be glass, just this. The two thick, thick. Then, if you're gonna do stuff, if that's extended, you can just put like some block there. It won't do anything. Also, you can't place a block there. That will also update it. Be annoying if it broke now, but it shouldn't. It's an eyeliner, which is quite cool, I think. Yeah. And fix the break in the middle. Ta-da! Yeah, probably my biggest tutorial ever. Unless I somehow remember how to make a 10% flashy and some items. Yeah, goodbye.